Hello everybody. Now you know quite about BIM. Uh, Today I'm going to discuss with you about working with BIM. Now let's assume that a client comes to you and say that you want to do BIM. Okay, you say all right. Uh, you get together with your project team. Uh, Bring in all this IT stuff, computers, software, relevant to each of the profession, uh, and work together and come up with this nice model. Uh, the client is surprised to see that nice model, and he soon realizes, but that that is not what he wants. He finds that it is not compatible with his intended use. And you must understand that intended use is obviously not only visualization. For visualization, we don't need BIM. We could use just the 3D modeling software like 3ds Max that we used to use in the past before we started talking about or thinking of BIM. Why is it important to know what client wants and understanding how BIM is going to be used and planning for that, it is very important. For that we have to have proper guidelines in place, best practice manuals or whatever that can help us to go through this process appropriately so that we can reach the intended objective or goals of using BIM. Today what I'm going to share with you is a document that was produced in United Kingdom with their BIM strategy. Excuse me. The document is called PAS1192-2 of 2013. Now this document is not now in use. It has been replaced by a new standard, but I prefer to talk about this at this moment because I found to be a very useful guide to understand how to implement BIM. How I'm going to present this document today is primarily by extracting things from the document itself, so that you can, or I actually advise you to refer that document while listening to me, so that you better understand the document. And whole the idea of doing this presentation is to help you understanding that document, and with that you can say explore the document further for deeper understanding. This PS document is titled as Specification for Information Management for the capital or delivery phase of construction projects using building information modeling. So the title itself says what it is, right? So it is a specification. A specification specifies how to do things. right? So this document specifies how to do BIM. So this is the cover page of the document. um, you can see it is produced by BSI. Okay, talking about this document, uh, the document explains it already has a good introduction to the document itself, so it is quite helpful to understanding. But I must tell you what PAS or PAS first, right? PAS is a publicly available specification. Is a document that standardizes elements of a product, service, or a process. These PAS documents are usually commissioned by industry leaders, uh, be they individual companies, SMEs, uh, trade associations, uh, institutions like RICS, like USSL, uh, or government big departments like ministries, um, and they are usually the people who would find such a standard is necessary but currently not available. So they get together with BSI, British Standard Institution, to come up with these documents with their support, and these documents are publicly available. That means it is uh, freely available to be downloaded. So that is another advantage, and that is one of the reasons I took this document, because anybody can uh, refer this document without actually having to purchase the document. um, and this PS1192 to 2013 is one such document which was sponsored by Construction Industry Council of UK. Uh, However, many organizations have got involved in the steering group throughout its development. Um, and like I have listed a few here. um, you can see the name of Autodesk, the leading software supplier for the construction industry. Within Smart, that is the organization, non-profit organization that led the development of BIM, Construction Industry Council, and interestingly, Minister of Justice. Uh, I have found that they have been quite leading in BIM uptake in the United Kingdom. Uh, and they had the first pilot project in BIM, I think, if I remember right. And big organizations like Skanska, etc., are found in this list. There are 24 members. You refer the document, you can find everybody in that document. Now, this document was facilitated by BSI Standards Limited and published under license from BSI. Now, however, you have to understand it was not a BS standard, right? So it is not considered to be a standard, so that's why they call it a specification. However, this specification have potential to become standard. And further, it is explained that this specification is built upon PS1192-2007 standard, that is a code of practice for collaborative production of architectural, engineering, and construction information. So this has been there for a long time, addressing some of the critical issues the industry had in United Kingdom. And I feel and really kind of found that this being available in the industry for a reasonable time has helped them uh, quite much in uptake of BIM in a rapid phase. When you go through this document, there are a few things that you should be careful about or be aware of and attend to. That is, those are the presentation conventions. Now this presentation conventions will help you to interpret the content of the document in various different places. Now the basic specification provisions are given in Roman, that is straight upright type of text, normal black color upright text, and the requirements in these sentences are identified by shall. The auxiliary verb shall will explain that what is given in the sentence is a requirement. That is, you have to do, or basically you can consider it is a must if you are really following this specification. The recommendations in the sentences are expressed with the principal auxiliary verb should. That is like it is a recommended practice or process that you have to follow, and if you wish you can refrain from following that, but you may have some disadvantage, but you are unlikely to fail in implementing BIM even though you don't follow them. A technical possibility is shown by the auxiliary verb can. That is for example, if it says that the model can be used by the quantity survey for cost planning, then it means that it is technically possible. Remember, not all BIM models are appropriate for costing purpose. Especially if the model is not exported to IFC using quantities add-on, you may not have appropriate quantities for certain software that quantity surveys are using. So if a model is capable of being used for costing, the term can be used so that it indicates the technical possibility. Now this kind of statement, exact statement, you may not find, but that is how we should interpret can in this document or in the provisions of this document. Alternatively, may will indicate the permission. It is not similar to can. where it shows it is technically possible, but there can be something that is technically possible but no permission. So if permission is there, it will be given as may. So same sentence with may, like the model may be used by the quantity surveyor for costing. So it indicates the permission instead of technical possibility. Got it? In addition to this, the commentaries, explanations, general information are presented in italic font type, and these explanation, commentaries, etc. do not constitute a normative element as a provision would. Okay. So I suggest that you keep this by your side while you are reading through this document, this explanation. It might help to clearly understand various different things that you find in the document. I'll move to the introduction part of it. Open the document, you can find this, and it has some good introduction for the need of this document. So it is good, and read it. I strongly recommend that you read it through. Now I'll take some important extracts from this document, and one thing I found very interesting is that it explains what collaborative working is, which is something we really don't understand sometimes. So this is really good that they have it in the same document. So this is how it goes on. Collaborative working is production of coordinated design and construction information. Tasks carried out in a particular order for mutual benefit of all involved. So you can see that it is about coordinated production of information, and when you are producing this information, the tasks are carried out in a particular order so that everybody has mutual benefit. Now, how you should interpret this is in a way that we know that when we are working with BIM, we rely on information that is produced by various others, and if these information are not provided on time, at the level that is required, then the next party cannot perform their task well. And sometimes a certain party's task would become more effective or more efficient or faster if some other party produces certain information earlier than normal. So understanding these benefits, advantages of each person's contribution at an appropriate stage, we come up with a procedure that everybody can make the best use of using BIM. And it further goes on to say that it's about producing information using standardized processes, agreed standards and methods. Now you have to understand that we follow standards when we are doing the designs. We follow standards when we are costing. But this is about standards of production of information. Right? So, for example, we produce CAD drawings, We use layers, we color them in a certain way, we name them in a certain way, but those are for the convenience of the design. But when we follow accurate standards, then we will have standardized way of naming the layers, coloring the layers, naming various other groups or objects in our designs. So that will help everybody to make best use of those information. And the next sentence, or the sentence continues to explain this, right? So produce information using standardized processes, accurate standards and methods to ensure the same form and quality, enabling information be used and reused without change or interpretation. That is very important. So when they are in a standardized way, you can use, or computers can directly use them and store them and reuse them without we have to manually enter. Remember about quantity takeoff, you measure from CAD drawing, you manually enter into the Excel. That is not what is expected in collaborative working. And my standards not clearly accepted, right? We talk about SMMs when we are talking about work quantities. So we are quite familiar with producing information into certain standards, but still we have my own standard method of measurement also. So then like only you would know how the quantities are taken. Nobody else can do the same thing, and they would not be able to clearly use your information without further interpretation. So now when you are talking about design, it is more than that. So when you produce information, what is required is that you follow standards, and your own standards or any custom standards are not expected or accepted. And it also says that this does not require more work. You are doing the same work, same design and task, but it requires mutual understanding and trust. You have to understand what others are expecting from you, and you have to be clear about what you expect from others so that they would also know. And you trust that they would produce information in a way that is accurate, right? And it's not simple standardization. We would need deeper level of standardization for our information. So this part is actually very valuable because it gives a very clear picture of about collaborative working, because when you have to use BIM, you have to do it collaboratively, right? Therefore, you need to understand what you have to do. From there, I will move to the background of it. So this is coming out as a result of 2011 UK government construction strategy, where they wanted the construction industry to implement BIM, and specifically for the government sector to implement all their projects in BIM in 5 years time, that is by 2016. And they identified level 2 BIM as a solution for the problem of information that is inaccurate, incomplete and ambiguous, and results in unnecessary additional capital delivery cost amounting to 20 to 25%. So this is a significant amount, you can realize. So in UK this was the case, right? So they wanted to minimize that and found BIM to be important and supported that. And it is envisaged to reduce this waste by proper process and procedures. That is what they wanted to do. And these processes and procedures are outlined in this PS document. Uh, and there were more documents produced to support this, and they have given a web link, taskgroup.org, right? And already identified documents in this PS document are CIC scope of services, outline scope of services for the role of information management, first edition, Kobe UK 2012, CIC BIM protocol, employees information requirements. Now these documents you can actually find to download and refer. Right, so with that I will take a break of the first part of it, but there will be more to come.